promised tonight that you could always speak your mind. You work so hard to say what's right. I watch you do it all the time. And when I called you on the phone, you said that I could be the one. But here I'm standing all alone, and you're out lying in the sun. Tell me, am I getting into...
Hey everybody, welcome to the Lund Loop Daily Update for Thursday, August 6, 2026. A few things. Hey, sorry about the screw up yesterday on the Daily Update. I don't know what happened. It got chopped off, but I did send out a part 2. Yesterday I wasn't on camera because I'm traveling. Today I'm not on camera because I've got some technical issues. And 3, turns out that my new studio is oriented right where my... You hear it? Where my gardener starts his stuff. So if you hear a little background noise, my apologies. Okay, we're going to make this short today. It's just a digestion day. We are in the summer, not a whole lot's happening. So you'll see this was the low from the post-Leopold, right? Actually, this is the low right here, to tell you the truth. So we got the Leopold news on Thursday. We kind of ramped on Thursday, had a little bit of a sell-off Friday, but ramped. And then we kept going up on Monday and then on Tuesday. And so if you look at this whole run here, I mean, let's put a little fib on it and go like this. I mean, where are we at in terms of a pullback? You know, we're not even at the 23.6 level. So this has been very good, orderly digestion for 2 days, give or take. And if you look at the rest of the indexes, they're all kind of the same, right? Qs, IWM, Dow giving a little bit more back, but I really like this look for the SPX and the Qs. Now, the question is, what happens? Do we eventually kick back in and continue this uptrend that we started on the breakout, the one went to new highs, or does something happen, as we hear that the war's back on tomorrow and then we drop? I don't know. We can only go from a technical standpoint. And as long as we have this very tight, orderly digestion, we're just waiting for the next set of buyers to kick in and move us back in the uptrend. You'll see this in a lot of individual names. But if we look at the index, it's a little bit, when you look at it on the daily, it doesn't look as smooth as it does on the 5-minute. But this is not bad. Look where we're at. There's the 23.6. And we're way up here. Today was a very narrow range day. What we don't want to do is just plunge right down to the 8 tomorrow, right? I'd like to see us kick back in and go higher. I mean, ideally one day inside here would be perfect, but we'll just see if that happens or not. But there's nothing wrong with the market technically, for sure. A little bit more of a pullback on the Qs, but remember the Qs have been weaker. And here's the thing that people aren't really thinking about. The Qs are not at the highs. What if the Qs do get back into gear and actually break this downtrend and we run back to the highs? That's going to be good for the overall market. So, and this has been a very low volume pullback here. These 2 days compared to the Tuesday breakout, I like that volume pattern. It's the same thing over here on the SPX. There's the breakout right there, big volume, and then low volume pullback. It's very healthy. What else? Same thing here, IWM. Look at that. Low volume pullback. And finally, the Dow. Dow's a little bit more aggressive, that little turn right there. But it did, yesterday when some of the things were selling off, the Dow was higher. So maybe it's just catching up in terms of digestion. So right now, as it stands, not really worried about the market. Let's go over and take a look at some of the indexes and ETFs. Here's what I do like. I like that the VIX is now starting to go lower. This is the lowest close right here. And we're just there. So if we were to break down here definitively, that would probably correspond with a move up. What else? TLT. All right, so there was the counter trend bounce that we saw yesterday to the 8 and now rolling back over. So that's all it is for now, is a counter trend bounce. Dixie, Still holding here. It's going to be a critical area to see how this resolves. Do we get back up in here and start working our way up this way, or do we just fall off a cliff here? Dram, not that great a look. Still looking like it's doing that cascading down. It would have to break back above here, I think, to change that tone. Mags looking okay. This high-level consolidation, I'll take that. SMH looking better than Dram, to tell you the truth. That's not a bad spot right there. What else? IGV. IGV got knocked down a little bit more. I think this is on the app loving thing, but some of the individual software names did okay today. We'll look at them in a minute. Carry softening up a little bit. It's a bigger bar than I like. Hopefully we're not going to get too far down into this range here. XLF still looks fine. XHB trying to base here right below this resistance level that it needs to get over. Oil had a little bit of a pop today. Nothing too significant. Gold. So gold had a breakout yesterday and a nice consolidation today. And a subscriber asked me about if I could do a measured move on this. There's lots of different ways to look at a measured move. So one of the ways is to say, okay, here's the range that we were in, which is basically 383 to 363, let's say. So the breakout from here, 383, should extend about the length of this range, which would be 30 points. So that would take us to what, 313? Where does that take us to? Right here, right? So that would be just below this old support and resistance level. But I think, honestly, a better way to look at it is incrementally. I mean, look, if you're a long-term investor, I mean, this is a swing to position measured move, right? Means it might take some time to get there. But here's what I would look at first. I would look at, this is the area where it really kind of dropped off a cliff. We bounced here, right? And then once we lost that level, we came back up to it, couldn't get above there. That's when the 200 came in. Then we broke down, went into this range. So the first thing I'd be looking is, can we get above the 200? The next thing I would say is, can we get to this area, which is, again, that breakdown spot. Then if we get down through this breakdown spot, you've got this gap that you got to get through here, right? So it's going to have to do some work. I like the fact that it's broken the downtrend. If it continues and gets back above the 200, that will give more evidence that this downtrend really is broken. So each of these levels will give you a little bit more confidence that it can make that measured move. But that's how I would look at it. Gold miners, that's good action there for sure. And gold miners are actually on top of the 200, which is nice. Silver has not been able to join the party and break out of this range. XLV just slopping around up in this area. Just an ugly, ugly chart. XBI. All right, continuing slowly to get out of this down channel. TAN. Kind of looking like a lot of those AI names. Got to get back above here first, and then for sure above this area to prove that this downtrend is over. Bitcoin, so slow. It's like people have just forgotten about crypto. Usually that's when things rip, but I don't know, man. It's hard to say. And pot is rallying, which is not always my favorite thing. A couple names today did a little bit. It was up 11, 12%. I don't know. You know how I feel about pot. Supposedly the rescheduling thing is going to happen mid-August. Yeah, whatever. All right, let's go over here. So here's a couple of names that look very interesting. So Path, we know the story on Path, right? It ripped from 10 to 14 on Tuesday. A little bit of a pullback yesterday, no big deal. And then today it gapped down and got as low as 1306. This is not the sort of pullback you want to see on after this. You want to see a very orderly one. But what happened is it reversed and it actually went green. And I think this is a really good look. So it's a tough one, but this is showing real tenacity and a real change in character as we make this kind of rounded pattern, breaking this downtrend here. Now, the larger downtrend, of course, is this one, right? But I like it, and I think I think it could really rip. I've been saying that if these things got past their July 7th pivots, like right in this area, that they could rip face. It's been a pretty good rip on this one. I think it can go more, but you're going to have to find an intraday spot. This isn't the worst spot right here. You know, this is a lot of names have this characteristic today, almost like a upside down or a inverse head and shoulders. You know, like here's a shoulder, here's the head, here's the other shoulder. You know, so maybe you get a gap up and you get a pullback into this area. So I'm going to put it on the considerations list because I really think if we get back up in here, it could go. It's got earnings coming up, but it's still got room to go, I think. Palantir is another one that's just like that, okay? Same sort of thing, right? Dropped, and then it firmed up pretty good. It's been a 2-day drop on Palantir after that big move, right? So we just got right back above the 236 level. That's a very shallow pullback. If that's it and it gets back above here, I think it goes. So I'm going to put this on. This could actually go on the daily setups because I think that's a bar you can set up from. And Tesla, which this one is a little deceptive, okay? If the bottom is in here on Tesla, this little 3-day, like this thing right here, and a lot of these things are right where they need to go. Like if these don't go in the next day or so, they risk falling off. But again, if you look at Tesla, it's a little bit harder to see there. But I do like the fact that these things kind of curled back up going into the close. So Tesla's going to go over to the daily setups. We go over to the green list. Oscar, I tried to play this with, or I did play this with options today. It was up as high as 36 pre-market and just tanked 12%. Terrible action. But look at that. Another one of those upside down head and shoulder type patterns, which is very interesting. A little bit different on this one. But if this thing were to get back above the 50, I think it'd be interesting. Unfortunately for now, it's got to go off the list. And paths on considerations. And what was on the active list? Broadcom. That's a great 2-day consolidation there. I'd probably like to wait for this 8 to catch up before I'd put it back on the green list. It could just go. It's got room in front of the earnings. And also look at the way the SMH